Good evening, everybody who's joining on Facebook live session with British Council today. So today we have a special guest who's an IELTS expert, Mr. Naaren Moharanjitan. Sorry about that. So he has a lot of knowledge, years of knowledge on IELTS special tasks. So he will be taking you all through tips and do's and don'ts for writing task, where we have seen a lot of candidates have been uh, having concerns regarding getting through the writing task. So we have today Mr. Naaren Moharanjitan to give you all good tips regarding the writing task. We will be having a question and answer session after the uh, explanation, so that you will be able to type in your questions. We will be taking up that, so that you will be able to take whatever the questions or doubts you have regarding the writing task. Over to you, Mr. Mohan.
Thank you very much, Shanita, for the introduction. Okay, without much ado, let's start immediately. There are two modules we are talking about here. One is the general module, IELTS general module, general training module. The next one is academic training module. So let us look at the common paper, the common question that is for both of you, those who are taking general training as well, and the others who are taking academic training. The second question, writing an essay, a discursive essay, is the common task for both of you. So generally, I'll just give you very simple information that everybody might know. It is 250 words. You have to write 250 words within 40 minutes. My advice is just do not start writing the essay as soon as you get the paper. Always spend 5 to 10 minutes to plan. And if you don't plan it, you are directly heading towards a disaster. So better sit down and plan your idea. So how do you plan it? First thing is to read the question very carefully. Read it and underline the most important keywords. Let me start with a small question. The government intends to ban smoking in public areas. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is my question for tonight, this evening. So underline the keywords. The government intends. It's an intention, not a decision. Not a decision made. Smoking in public areas, not in other places, but public areas. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So after underlining, then quickly take this piece of paper that is given to you or on the question paper itself. Put a line and on the left write why one should agree, why could agree for the ban. So jot down some ideas. I recommend that you jot down about 3 to 4 ideas. For example, why one should agree? You should agree because there will be no passive smoking when you don't smoke in public area. Second one, a social factor, a social reason. Children and other people go to the public area. So remember, the question is about public area. So they might see adults smoking and they might follow. So they might imitate. Second idea. Third one could be pollution. Smoking can cause pollution. Yeah, pollution everywhere when people smoke in the public places. And the fourth one could be, say, accidents can be avoided. So now we have 4 good reasons to write about the agreement side of the question. And on the right hand side in the paper, you write down all those reasons why this ban may not work as expected. Number one is when you ask people not to smoke in public area, they will go and smoke at home. They might smoke at home. So that is one thing. Smoking at home causes more dangers. I mean, many dangers. Not only for other people, but even the family members. Not only for the smoker, but also the family member. Second thing is, tourism may be affected. People might not choose a country to tour around where smoking is prohibited. There could be a third reason. Implementation is not that easy. You need to keep law officers everywhere to apprehend smokers. So 3 reasons are there. Some people say, okay, there could be lesser import of cigarettes, so tax money can be reduced. Now, 4. You can't write all these 4 points, I mean 8 points in your answer because you only have 40 minutes plus you only have 250 words. Now it is time to choose. Only choose 2 points from each. Now remember, we had 4 points for agreement, so take 2 points from there. Take, for example, children may imitate adults if people smoke in public areas. Second could second thing could be passive smoking can be avoided. So 2 points there. Now think about what supportive arguments I can have for these points. So if you have time, you jot down the supporting argument, but don't write sentences, just arguments. For example, I'll tell you, I will take only one. Passive smoking. Public places, not only smokers but also other people gather. So research has shown there is more harm caused by passive smoking than active smoking. So you can give some evidence to support your answer. Jot down those things and then go to the other side, disagreement part, and select 2 points there. If I were you, I would select difficult to implement. The tax thing is not very big because you are only asking people not to smoke in public areas. Cigarettes will be imported, so tax will not be affected much. So I'm selecting um, difficult to implement, one thing, and family can be affected. Two strong points. Now there also do the same thing. Add some points there, and now you are ready to write. How many paragraphs? That's a very frequently asked question. How many paragraphs can we have for this essay? 4 paragraphs minimum. Minimum I'm talking about. Okay, minimum 4 paragraphs. You can talk about first paragraph is introduction. Have a strong statement describing the problem at hand. In this case, smoking. So you can start. Smoking has been a hazardous habit for many centuries and causing a lot of respiratory and heart related diseases. That's the first sentence. The government intention of government's intention of banning smoking is an idea that I welcome. And then at the same time, there are some disadvantages too, or there are some difficulties in implementing this ban. That is one way of starting. What is important for you to notice, you start with an attractive sentence, a key sentence, talking about the problem, and then directly come to your decision. That's in technical terms, we call it your position. You must have your position stated in the introductory paragraph. You should not simply say there are good things and bad things about the ban and not on that line of thought. You have to straight away say whether you agree or disagree. Now we miss something. Where do you make this decision? When do you make this decision to agree or disagree? After you take down your notes, your brainstorm session. Think about which one is stronger. Is disagreement stronger or agreement stronger? Then take that as your decision. So I will recapitulate again. Recapitulate what you have to write in the first paragraph, because first paragraph is crucial. It attracts the reader, the examiner in this case. So write a strong sentence and straight away say which decision you take. Are you taking the for or the pros or cons? Which side you take? That is done now. Obviously, the second paragraph is going to be about if I agree, I would start with the disagreement part to begin with, and I state 2 points here. Uh, why this ban is not a good idea, and you give your reasons, 2 reasons with very good supportive arguments. You finish it off. Then go to the third sentence, third paragraph. When you start the third paragraph, remember you are going to oppose the previous paragraph. So you need to start with a cohesive device that signposts that you are going against the previous paragraph. So the good words are converse, starting with simple words. However, on the other hand, conversely, in contrast, so use nevertheless, use any of these words and start writing about why you agree with this statement, agree with the ban. And then again, you have 2 points there. Support your arguments. Support your arguments with at least 2 to 3 sentences for each point. So let me um, explain a little bit more. Say, I discuss why this is a good idea, because public passive smoking can be. I'm talking about the second paragraph. Public smoking can be avoided. That is, passive smoking can be avoided. So at least you have 2 to 3 sentences to support your argument. It could be examples, it could be explanation, or it could be even bringing out some research facts into this. So now that is done. What are you going to do in the conclusion? Conclusion should not be just a repetition of the first introduction paragraph, but your conclusion, which side you take. Okay, let me give you a conclusion for this particular example. In conclusion, or you may start as discussed above, or you may start in the light of the above discussion. I feel, although this ban can bring in some good effects to the society, good results or good, benefits to the society, I still feel it is very difficult to implement, therefore, would not bring in the desired results. And then give another, because finishing your conclusion with one sentence is not a very good idea. At least have 2 sentences. So, as I told you before, in light of the above discussion, um, and you say in light of the above discussion, I do not feel that this ban can bring in desired results. However, instead of trying to ban smoking, the government and non-governmental organizations should create, have awareness program to inform the public the bad effects of smoking. That's it. So there are 5 different types of questions. Um, One is disagree or agree. The one that I showed you is to what extent you agree. Advantages and disadvantages. There is another question that is a very simple one. Problem solution. Obesity is it's a serious health issue in many countries. What are the causes of obesity? How can obesity be controlled? So this is a problem solution. There are double questions. Wealth is considered to be a measurement of um, development in a country. First question: do you agree with the statement? And that is one question. And again, there could be another question: what are the other measurement of development in a country? So there could be 5 in the internet or in the British Council website. You can see these 5 different types. If you have enough time for the exam, I would uh, I would recommend that you do at least one essay from each type and then go on. Okay. Before I go to the second part, I can see some questions popping up. Kira Dias is asking, can I enroll with this course? Oh, I don't understand. Okay, now this is not a course, Kira. This is a short um, seminar, or so, very short talk about this. But if you want to improve English, that's a different story. Altogether, you need to, yeah, go to the British Council or find somebody else. Okay, let's go to the second part. First part, I will start with the general training people. Okay, in general training, first part, you get a letter. There could be 2 letters, 2 different, no choice, but 2 different options are there. Options in the sense you might get either of these 2. One is a formal letter or an informal letter. Formal letter refers to you write a letter to a manager, your boss, or somebody you don't know about a problem. Let me give an example. Write a letter to your manager asking for leave, to asking for 2 years leave to follow a study program, and then there will be 3 bullet points. The bullet points could be explain the course that you are going to follow, explain what measures you have taken to cover your work, what other help that you ask from your manager. 3 bullet points. So, what is important here is you have to cover all 3 bullet points. There could be 3 paragraphs or more paragraphs, but what is important is to cover those 3 areas thoroughly. And the language will depend. Now, language might change from formal to informal. So, informal letters, I'll give you the example of an informal letter and then come back to the differences. An informal letter could be You were unable to attend your friend's wedding, write a letter apologizing for it, and add these three reasons why you couldn't go to the wedding. Suggest a date to meet him or her, like, on a particular date, and what and wish him or her good luck. Oh, sorry, wish him or her best wishes. Now there are two letters here. Then, in the formal letter, you will have to follow formal vocabulary, formal sentence structures, formality of the formal letter of starting and finishing, um, and all those things are important. Whereas in informal letter, the style is not very important. It should be informal. You should not write an informal letter in the formal letter and vice versa. There you must be careful about that. Okay? So this is 150 words again, only 150 words in this case, and 20 minutes only. So here you can't spend 10 minutes planning. I would recommend that you plan 3 to 5 minutes, and the next 15 minutes you keep on writing the letter. That is general training. Now, when it comes to academic training module, you have three different questions are possible. One is graph, which is common. Graphical information given in form of line graph. It could be pie charts. It could be tables. It could be a mixture of a pie chart and a table, or a line graph and a pie chart. Can be given to you, and you are asked to interpret the information in a paragraph or two. So here, if you are gaining anything from this very short session, I'm going to give you three things that are very, very important. Number one is you must have an introduction. The introduction should not copy the question, but rephrase the question. If the introduction says the pie chart given gives expenditure of a particular UK school on different expenses in 2015. So in that case, you shouldn't be writing this exactly the same thing. You must change. Different expenses of a UK school in 2015 are given below in this chart, are given in the above chart. So I am putting it in the passive form. You don't need a passive. You don't necessarily need passive form like that, but that's a good idea to do that. And or you can just choose other words to do. If the question says show, maybe you can use the word illustrate or depict or represent. Such things can be made. All right. And then that is the first thing. That is the easiest thing. You shouldn't be spending a lot of time trying to find out how can I write my introduction. But second one is called the overview. And overview is what do I mean by overview? Is give a general idea, the most important striking information that you can see, and always go for trends. What kind of differences are happening? Now, in that particular example I gave you, what is the school spending mostly on? Are they spending on teacher salary? Are they spending on insurance? And then talk about that first. Overall, the school spent uh, on teachers more than anything in all three given years. And it spends the least on insurance. I'm just giving you an example. Then other expenses fluctuated within the 3 years. Now, if you notice, when you give your overview, you do not give any details, in the sense, no data, no supporting statistics are given in the overview. And two things are done. Now you go to the third one, that is the detailed writing, comparing the facts, comparing the information given in the graph, pie chart, or whatever. There you talk about, okay, um, the school spent the highest amount of money on teachers' payment, which is 40% in 1981, but it spends the least amount of money on insurance. Then you talk about on other expenses, you compare within that pie chart. Then go to the next year, for example. In 1991, however, in 1991, expenses changed, and then you can say on what the school spent most of the money and on what the school spent least of the money, and then in the same way, go to the next one and describe the last one. So this is what a brief idea about writing. So, if you are taking anything home today, in essays, introduction should have your opinion stated, and then again, after discussing in two paragraphs, go to the conclusion and reiterate what you said in the beginning and throughout the test. So that will bring you more marks. So I'm looking at things that many people make mistakes on. So these are the common mistakes that people make. They um, straight away come to the point and say, I do not agree with this ban because blah blah blah. They go on writing. That's not a good idea. And in the first part, you may remember to give a good introduction, and the second paragraph should be overview without no data, no statistics. And the third or fourth paragraph, whatever the number of paragraph that you decide based on the question, and do that. By the way, also there are other possibilities. I'll briefly mention. In part one of academic, you get these graphs or you get a process how noodles is made. So steps of making noodles making is given here. So you need to start talking about what is the first stage and the last stage, and how different machinery are used, what ingredients are used. Comparing the stages, you need to talk about that. Sometimes you also get um, uh, I can explain to you through an example. A bare island is given in the first diagram. Another diagram is shown how that island has become a tourist attraction. What things are added, what facilities are added. So there again, you are comparing. Remember all the time, you are comparing the first island with the second island. What things included, what things are not changed, and what things are converted. So this is what we call uh, comparing two diagrams. So these are the three possibilities. Lately, I saw another. One of my students told me another thing. There was an exam paper where a graph was given and also a process was given. A graph talks about, um, mm, sorry, the process talks about how noodles is made. The graph gives information of where these noodle packets are sold. And that's a very interesting and a new concept that we saw. Okay, I stopped there because now we have 7 minutes for your questions and answers. Shanita, can we have any questions here? I can't hear you. We can't hear you, Shanita. Still, we can't hear you. I will handle this question until you get ready. There is this question about whether physical classes have started at the British Council. So, as far as I know, mm, yes, there are so many classes started. I am not very sure about IELTS, but Shanita, you had to give me the answer. But still, we can't hear you. I think you are muted. Still, you are not heard, Shanita, unfortunately. Okay, until he recovers, until he starts unmuting his mic, let me ask another question. Duminda Karnaratna is asking, what about the physical classes at the British Council? Yes, you think they have started the other courses. I'm not very clear about British Council IELTS courses. Hopefully, everything has now started in-person classes have started. Please inquire. Anything about writing? All right, we have 5 minutes. Since there are no questions, let me answer some other questions, frequently asked questions. People ask, if I do this exam in Kandy, will it be easy? If I go to Batiklo, will it be easy? Or may I come to the British Council and do it in Colombo, which is easier? Wherever you do the exam across the world, not only within Sri Lanka, across the world, the exam is the same. same standard, same examiners are trained in the same way, examiners are standardized in the same way. The exam delivery is the same. So do not think that if I do it in some place, I might get better results. No, the answer is no. All these questions are repeated. For example, if a writing question is there for today in Sri Lanka, it will be the same in England or in Australia or anywhere else in the world. So the standard is the same, and the results format, everything is the same. No questions? Okay, some more answers then, if there are no questions. Um, some frequently asked question. People usually ask, what if I write less than 250 words for the second part and less than 150 words for the first part? Yes, you will be penalized. You will lose at least zero point 0.5 of your band score. If you are supposed to be given 7 bands for that, because you wrote two or less than 250 words, you will be given um, only I mean, just one band below that. Writing more than 250 words or 150 words is not a problem. But almost you must be careful about the time that you spend. If you are writing more, chances are you must get out of the topic, or sometimes you may not be able to finish your essay. You may not be able to add a conclusion. Okay, I think Shanita is back again. Yes, Shanita.
Naren, can you hear me now? I guess you can hear.
Yes.
Right, good. There are technical mishaps happen here and there. So there was another question, Naren, with viewer has asked whether he can go beyond 250 words in the second part.
Yes, I just answered. No harm in writing more, but ask yourself, do I have the time to do that? When you're doing the practice sessions at home, think about that. Set your alarm and then start, set your stopwatch and then start writing. And make sure that you finish before that. Because if you don't write the conclusion, once again, just like even if the word count is about 250, if you don't have the conclusion, once again you will get 5 bands for your task completion or task achievement. You must be careful. Well, talking about conclusion, did you notice I didn't say anything about conclusion in the first part in academic? Because your conclusion is the overview. So the overview works as a conclusion, so you don't need to have another conclusion. And finally, I would also warn you, do not have any opinions in the first part academic. You can't say car sales reduced because of the COVID-19 restriction if that is not given in the question paper. So you can't add any opinion. Your opinions are there to be shared in the second part, remember. Okay, thank you, Shanita. I think we are
Thank
nearly.
you very much, Naren, for your time given to share the knowledge with our viewers. So thank you very much, viewers who joined us today, and have a nice evening. And await for the next FB live session with tips and information regarding IELTS exams with British Council. Thank you and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Shanita, for inviting.